Okay, welcome everyone. I am going to switch on my camera briefly so that you can see me. Hello, I think you can all see me. Just to give so that you don't, you can put a face to the voice that you'll be hearing. Okay. Let me start by introducing myself. My name is Sheba Rusoke Nyakaisiki. I'm a lecturer in the Faculty of Science, Department of IT. I'm a historical at Uganda Matters University. I was one of the pioneer students. I joined in 1995 as a student and graduated in 1998. I came back to teach in 2004 after I attained a master's degree in computing. Then in 2016, got my PhD in the field of ICT. So it's one of the reasons why I'm given the research methods course unit, because of that little bit of background in research. Physically, I'm based in Fort Portal. However, because of the blended section, I will be making an effort to come to Nkozi and Masaka at least once a month to see you face to face. So I don't know how we're going to do it since you're evening students. I don't know, is there any way we can try to meet earlier, because I'll be traveling from Ibanda to Nkozi and then Masaka, and need to return back to Ibanda around about the time. But I don't know if we can work something out as a group. Is it possible? Yes, Baguma? I understand you're evening students. Your class begins at 5:30, yeah? So, but anyway, as we go along the way, I think we can plan something. I hope so. So that we can have that physical face-to-face, so that I make one trip for both Nkozi and Masaka students. So, welcome, everyone. Now, can I get to know those of you who are here now? Can I get to know who you are? And if you're working, what job are you doing, and what are you hoping to learn from this particular course unit, research methods? Hello, is anyone there? I just want to know who's on the other side. Yes, Boaz.
Madam, we are there, but I'm requesting for the pardon of what you have been asking to.
Yes. Okay. Right. Previously, I had talked about physical sessions, but I think we shall work that one out as we go along. When I do make trips, the side of Nkozi and Masaka, on how we can meet a little bit earlier. But I think we shall work it out then. But as for now, I was suggesting, can we have introductions? I gave you a brief introduction of who I am. So I'm asking if you can introduce yourselves, who you are you working, what are you hoping to gain from this particular course unit, research methods?
My name is Akanyizuka Boaz, and I do education, Bachelor's of Science in Education, and I'm a full-time student. I hope to gain research skills from this course unit.
Okay, thank you, Boaz.
regard-
So Boaz, for you, you're a full-time student.
Yes.
So we have some full-time students and some part-time, because I understand this is an evening class.
Yes, it's an evening class, but there is a combination of IT students and education students. And with
Okay.
the education students, we are on full time.
Okay, I understand. Okay, thank you, Boaz. Baguma, maybe you could come next. Baguma Gerald. I think you're logged in twice. Eh? I'm seeing Baguma Gerard and Baguma Gerard Pius.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening.
I'm Baguma Gerard, IT student. I'm also full-time because I don't work during the day.
Okay.
What I expect from this question, to get from this course unit, is understanding the importance and purpose of research in IT. Secondly, I hope to know identify research problems and formulating research questions.
Okay. Thank you.
Madam.
Thank you, Baguma. I think that's a very good point. That's really a key point, research problems and research questions. Can we hear from Helen?
Good evening, madam, and
Good
the whole
evening.
class.
Good evening, Helen.
My name is Namlema Helen Eva, and I'm doing Bachelor of Science in IT. Study evening and also work as a part-time at my uncle's workplace. IT is Right Fine Solutions, dealing in CCTV installation.
Okay. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting, Helen. Please go on.
I'm expecting to learn the research questions, as Baguma has said, research skills, and the purpose of research. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. Okay, can we hear from Ronald Kiamanywa?
Thank you very much, madam. Kiamanya Ronald is my name, student of Bachelor of Science in Education, IT, Mathematics. I enrolled for an evening program, and I'm currently doing work. All my work is at St. Henry's College, Finance Department and Procurement Department.
Okay, thank you, Ronald. Thank you for joining us. Can we hear from Derek Muwulya?
Good evening, madam.
Good evening,
and
Derek.
everyone. So I'm Moria Derek, doing IT. I'm self-employed, dealing in electronics, though because of license issues, I closed for the moment.
Okay. Let's hope for better as time goes on. So, Derek, what do you hope to gain from this course unit?
I wish to explore more about IT, like in some areas, those languages. It is, madam.
Okay. Thank you, Derek, for joining us. Can we hear from Promise? Can we hear from Promise?
Yes, madam. Good evening, madam.
Good evening to you.
I'm Nisima Promise, doing Bachelor of Science in IT, evening program. In this course unit, I expect to know and understand various research methods in computing.
Okay. Thank you, Promise. Thank you for joining us.
Okay,
Can
madam.
we hear from Lawrence? Can we hear from Lawrence? Lawrence, are you there?
Can you hear me,
Yes, please.
madam?
Yes, Lawrence, we can hear you.
I'm Lawrence Samgen, doing BSIT, offering a evening program. I'm self-employed, and I'm eager to know about new methods in computer for research, and to know more ways how we deal in computer researching methods.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Lawrence. Can we hear from Adrian?
Good evening, madam.
Good evening, Adrian.
I'm Serangay Jen. I'm an IT student. I go for evening classes. Right now, I can't say that I'm a stable job, but I'm trying to get. So, and in this course, I'm anticipating to get a research skill in IT.
Sorry, Adrian, you are a bit breaking up. You're not very clear.
So, madam, am
Yes.
I clear now?
Very clear now.
Yeah, so I'm Serang Adrian, doing IT, and I'm offering evening classes. So, right now I can say that I have a stable job, but I'm working in some place. But yeah, I can say that it's stable. But in this course, I'm anticipating to get a research skill in IT, and to know more about the computer stuff. Thank you, madam.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that, everyone. Thank you for your comments. Now, I want to share with you a link. I'm going to put this in the chat. Can all of you see that link in the chat? I've just posted it. Is it possible for all of you to go to that link? Have you all gone to that link?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Do you see a question there?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Is it possible for you to respond to that question? What are your thoughts on research? What do you think about when you think, I don't want a textbook definition, just what your thoughts are. When you hear the word research, what are your thoughts? I'm seeing a hand up. That is Ronald. Yes, Ronald?
Thank you, madam. If I've heard the question well, my thoughts about research. It is a process of finding out new information or making a study basing on what is in existence, then finding out new information.
Is it possible for you to post your response there on Padlet? You see where the plus signs is? Let me just share my screen so that, because I would like to get your responses on this. So I think you can all see my screen. Is my screen visible to all? If you see that plus, there's a plus here. If you click on it, you click on it and then write your response here. So if this was me responding, I would say, maybe I believe research is finding something new. If that was my response, then I click on publish. So there it says, Sheba S. Nyakaisika has responded. So if you can just type it there, that would be good. Ronald and the rest, please. It would be good if this lecture, our lectures can be as interactive as possible, so that I know what you're thinking, you know what I'm thinking. Okay, Helen has posted something. I think research refers to the steps taken to gather more information about something, either in existence or new. It may include using questionnaires, direct interaction with others, and many others. Thank you. Helen, thank you. That's a very, very nice I think that's a very good response to the question. Others, can you kindly post something? So we have here, Ronald says research is the process of finding out new information, understanding something new. Ronald, thank you for that. We have Adrian, research is the creation of new knowledge or use of existing knowledge in a new and creative way so as to generate new concepts and understandings. Thank you. Sorry, someone is trying to call me, but I've put them on silent. So others, we have, who is Whimsical Caribou? Says research is kind of investigation and inquiry aimed at discovering. Who is Whimsical Caribou?
Mr. Mugenyi Lawrence.
Mugenyi Lawrence, okay. We have promised research is a systematic and structured process of investigating and inquiry aimed at discovering and interpreting something. Thank you for that. And we have any other? Okay. Thank you for that. Let me share the lecture slides if I can just open it up. And I think this is the wrong one. Sorry. Okay, so I think my screen is visible now. So as we rightly put, and for most of you, when I asked, what is this? What do you think? What are your hopes about this? And the number of people said they hope to be able to identify a research problem, formulate research questions, and so on and so forth. And all those are key points in research. And some of you said you hope to pick up research skills. And indeed, and all that is also another very, very good point. Every course unit you take is giving you a skill. For example, if you're taking a course unit on maybe on programming languages, whatever programming language it may be, you're picking up a skill. If you are taking a course unit on computer maintenance, that's a skill. So also is research methods. It is a skill that you are attempting to pick up. So we have expectations of what we expect a student, but at the end of this, what a student should be able to do. One of the primary reasons is, well, if we are to understand what is a degree course, yeah, what is the difference between a university student and a student who goes to, let's say, a technical school? What is the difference between you and a student who goes to a technical school? What is the difference between a student in a university and any other, and a technical school? What is the difference? Do we know why we are at university? I know most of us, if they asked you, why have you come to university? And all of us would probably say, I'm here because I would like to get a good job that gives me a good salary. And that is true. Most of us, even me, when I went to university, that is true. But there's also something else, especially for those of you who are doing IT. Let me give an example. We have people like Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, who don't have a university degree, and they've made lots of money. So the question is, why are you a university student? What's the difference? Yes, you want to gain those skills, but do you know why research methods comes in? Why don't we just teach you how to program, how to put together a computer, how to do computer maintenance, how to set up a network, how to maintain a network? Why don't we stick to just those? Why should we go through this process of data collection, bringing in new knowledge? Why? Do we know why? We have Mary Francis who has raised her hand.
Okay, thank you, madam. I think any university student, after having their degree, must be a good problem solver.
Yes. I think essentially any university student should be a problem solver, whether you are doing programming or anything. Boaz, let's see your response.
Thank you, madam. I think we, being at the university level, there should be a greater level of impact compared to those people in the tertiary institutions. And then we do research, because the world is dynamic and we cannot stick on the same thing today and tomorrow. So when we do research, we are able to integrate new things within the existing things to make a progress.
Yes, that is true. Thank you, Boaz. Thank you so much for that, for all your responses. If all of you, or most of you are online, if I asked you to find out what is an academic,
Come again, madam.
what does it mean to be an academic? I think most of you are online. You can Google it.
I think, sorry, I didn't raise my hand.
It's okay.
I think an academic is a person who engages in scholarly activities.
Yes, in scholarly activities. Here there is someone who says, relating to schools, what's the best definition of academic? Relating to schools, colleges, and universities, all connected with studying and thinking, not with practical skills. Okay? It is related to studying and thinking, not with practical skills. You remember I gave you the first example of Bill Gates? Bill Gates is one of the, I think is you can't talk about IT or ICT without talking about people like Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg or Steve Jobs, the late Steve Jobs. You can't talk about IT or ICT without talking about those characters. And yet none of those individuals has a degree. So they are IT professionals in the practical sense. But what is it that makes you an academic? Because even there are those people who can take a course in IT that is not degree related, could be certificate level, and they go on to be greats to the levels of Bill Gates. So what then makes you an academic? To be a thinker, not necessarily, it has very little to do with practical skills, but to be a thinker. That is research. Okay? This is what research is. It is science, but that is what research is. That's what makes you an academic, a little bit separate from the person who is purely practical. And some of us may wonder, then what's the point? My intention is to pick up these practical skills and go and impress my boss somewhere, somehow. Not so? Isn't that what I'm imagining? That's what some of us are thinking. What is the point of me doing research if it's not going to make me impress someone somewhere, somehow? What is the point of all of this? Why should I do it? Yeah? We are going to talk about things like research problems. Someone said the reason we do it because a university student should be a problem solver. We have we have problems, everyday problems, and then we have research problems. They're not the same thing. And this is one of the things we're going to emphasize as we do this course unit. What is a research problem and what is an everyday problem? So take an example. If we said our university students have a hard time going online, is that a research problem or is that an everyday problem? If I say I am feverish, I don't feel well, is that a health problem or a research problem? If I say I don't know how to make money, is that a research problem or a Sheba problem? So there's a difference between a research problem and the everyday problem. So we are going to understand the significance of research problem. Yeah? We should be able to identify aims or objectives of a research project. Select appropriate research methods, data collection methods, data analysis, and then how to produce a research proposal. So this is the beginning of you becoming a thinker at bachelor's level. I'm sure most of you, you're not going to stop here. You're going to go further at master's and others even go further to PhD. So these are the beginnings. So it's not, this is not the end and beginning and end of doing you doing research, but it's just the beginning of the process. So the question is, what is research? And some of you have already given this, we've seen some of the words you've used. The first one is systematic. So if we know what a system is, we know a system is something that has components, and each component has a specific purpose it does. If we go back to our IT language, what is a system? A computer system. What is a computer system made of? Someone will talk about a CPU, the monitor, the keyboard, the mouse, so on and so forth. The hardware and the software. We know that each part has, this system is made up of components, and each component has its purpose. And each component feeds, one component feeds another to give an output. So if we know it is systematic, that means we know research has specific components. And we must understand each component and how it feeds the next component. So one, it is systematic. Two, it's an inquiry. What is an inquiry? If someone says, I'm inquiring about our lecture of research methods, we understand somebody is seeking to find out something. I'm inquiring about the university's programs. You're seeking to find out. I'm making an inquiry on the universe. What makes up the universe? I'm making an inquiry on the beginnings of the universe. So you're asking the question that you're asking. Okay? The $1 million question, is it Sheba who is asking? Is it Helen who is asking? Or is it a community of researchers that are asking? Who is asking? If Sheba says, I don't know what the universe is made of, maybe there's a community of people who don't know, and I just haven't found that community. Should I call that research? If I say I don't know the distance between the Earth and the Moon, that's an inquiry. But does that make it a research inquiry? Maybe that information is known, it's just that I haven't come across it as Sheba. So that inquiry, who should be making that inquiry? What makes it a research inquiry? What qualifies it? What qualifies it as a research inquiry? Inquiry or investigation, yeah, into a specific problem or issue that leads to new or improved knowledge. It leads to, the output is new or improved knowledge. Is this knowledge new or improved for Sheba or for a research community? That is a question for each and every one of us. Is this new or improved knowledge for Sheba or for an entire research community? If it is Sheba who doesn't know, but others know, it has been published. It has been published already about this particular knowledge, about this particular problem, then it is a Sheba problem. It's not a research problem. Okay? It's not a research problem. So this is something that we must understand in order to grasp research, what research methods is. Why would we conduct research? We are in the process of becoming academics, thinkers. Okay? We're in the process of becoming academics, thinkers. When I will not lie to you that by the end of your bachelor's degree, you'll be a thinker. If it's possible, well and good, but if not, it's a process. It takes time. Okay? It takes time and constantly encountering research. But for the first part, we want to acquire our degree. So for academic purposes, we want to attain our bachelor's degree. That's the first part. The second is to acquire new knowledge. Not just Helen or Lawrence or Promise, not just Sheba, but there is a certain community. A certain community. Okay? A certain community, and this is what we refer to as a research community. There's a certain research community that is seeking to know, to answer this question. Now, I keep talking about community. What community is this? What community is this that we are talking about? We are IT students, aren't we? Aren't we research students? Aren't we IT professionals, or we are IT professionals in the making? Aren't we? Yes, we are IT professionals or IT professionals in the making. So as IT professionals or IT professionals in the making, there are certain issues that IT professionals are seeking to know. So those IT professionals publish issues that are currently going on, issues that need to be known. So they publish. So that makes a research community. Okay? That makes a research community. So these communities publish. What do they publish? They publish articles, scholarly articles. That's where we find out what new knowledge is being sought for. So we are seeking to acquire knowledge to find answers, to solve a problem in the practical world. Now, I talked about thinkers, not practical skills. So you may be saying, what practical world? Yeah, there are a lot of things that we don't know. For example, we now have IA. Do we know its impact on marketing, for example? Do we know its effectiveness in healthcare? And so on and so forth. That's a practical question. Okay? We also do research to enhance our critical skills in communication. And that is key. Critical skills in communication, because you are going to be communicating something to a community. You found out this problem. You want to solve this research problem. This is how you're going to solve it. You take us through the process. You get your findings and you communicate your findings. Yeah? Independent thinking. As much as research one is based on other research, you don't do research alone. It's rare that it starts from you and you alone. But you develop your own thinking about that problem. As you go to tackle it, you pick a research method, you go into the field, you collect data, you interpret it and communicate it. That is developing independent thinking. To answer the what if questions. If I add AI to healthcare, what happens? When I implement AI in marketing, what happens? Okay? the what if questions, to improve people's well-being. So we assume that these findings are going to bring a contribution to a research community and society at large. For example, if it is being proposed that AI is implemented in healthcare, and we do implement it in a section of healthcare and give findings, you're bringing about an improvement in society. To test or disprove a hypothesis, girls hate mathematics. Researchers can prove or disprove this hypothesis. We shall find out what a hypothesis is as well. To test or disprove theories, and so on and so forth. What is good research? We start from our definition of research. We said it is systematic. We know it is made up of components. Which component feeds the other? So which means it has predefined and pre-established rules and regulations. And one of the things we are going to learn is what are those rules and regulations? How do I identify a research problem? How do I identify it? How do I identify it, formulate it? How do I formulate my research objectives? How do I select the appropriate research method? And so on and so forth. It offers something new to previous research. It builds on and offers something new. So one, you should be aware of previous research and you should be adding on to. Be aware of previous research and you should be adding on to. It directly or indirectly is related to real-world problems. It must take ethical and moral consideration. What do I mean here? I am sure all of you have done something on ethics. So it's not new. Is ethics new to any of you? What is ethics? What is your understanding of ethics? What is your understanding of ethics?
I think ethics includes the morals that the society requires from a person.
The morals, yeah? That is true. Very, very true. Yes, Ronald? Is it Ronald who gave us the answer?
It's Boaz.
It was. Ronald, yes? Please go ahead.
Ethics is a moral principle on understanding what is right or wrong.
Yes, please. So the ethical element comes in. Take an example. We have said research builds on other research. And you decide to pull somebody else's research and take it as your own. That is unethical. You go into the field to collect data. You don't inform the people you are picking from that. You don't inform them why you're picking that information from them. And you don't consider confidentiality and discretion. Those are all ethical or moral issues for consideration. Clearly states variables or constructs to be examined. What you're researching on is clear, is not biased. So research must be as objective as possible. Let me give an example. We as IT professionals, one of the things we are very, very sensitive about is our products, what we produce. Take an example, if I built maybe a website for somebody and I took off for a company, or a person or an organization, and I took it to them and presented it to them, and they said, this is the ugliest thing I've ever seen. I think we'd all agree that would definitely hurt our feelings if any of us was in that position. Okay? And we may take offense and we may react and so on and so forth. But let's say you're doing research, you build a system, implement it, and then gain feedback, which is negative. You must remain unbiased and be objective. The good thing about research is a negative finding is positive. That's the good thing about research. A good research also has multiple possible answers. One of the things is not to assume we have an absolute truth with research. Even when we're reporting our findings and giving an analysis, we say, probably this means this. To avoid making concrete conclusions, and yet somebody else's research may come out and prove you wrong. So what research is not? One, plagiarism. Do we know what plagiarism is? Do we know what plagiarism is?
Yes, madam.
Yes. When we take on somebody's work and pass it off as our own. Falsifying data. Many times we are supposed to go and collect data. We are bored, we don't want to do it. Maybe we are a little bit broke. And we decide to say, let me sit down and fill in my questionnaire. That's falsifying data. Misinterpreting information and misleading participants. Providing inadequate references, previous research on which you're building your research on. Problems you may encounter during research. Lack of sufficient or appropriate literature. And this is key. Remember what we said? Research builds on previous research. So it is extremely, extremely important to have sufficient literature review. Not just sufficient, but state of the art. What do we mean by state of the art? Most recent publication on a particular topic or research area. So take an example. If you are doing research on AI and your literature review is dated 2016, 2015, and so on and so forth, below, yet your research is being done in 2025. Inadequate data. When you go to the field and you only interview 2 people and that's it. You only have 10 questionnaires filled out. Inadequate funding. And this can happen especially when you're a student. You don't have the funding to transport you from point A to point B to pick data, and so on and so forth, to have access to a computer, access to internet, and so on and so forth. Lack of trust by data providers. Those whom you're researching from, if they don't trust you and what you intend to use that data, okay? Research demands a lot of time. If you have insufficient time, let us say if you decide to carry out your research in the last month of your third year, definitely that's a no-no. That is insufficient time. Now, that was a brief introduction to what research is. I want to end this session on a point of discussion for our next session. At the end of this course unit, you're going to develop a research proposal which will end up as a research project. What challenges do you expect to encounter? How do you expect to overcome these challenges? Can this be our point of our next discussion? And while you are at it, try and find out what is a research problem. What is a research problem? And what research types exist out there? Can this be the next point of discussion for us for our next lecture?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Now I've ended off with a question for you. Do you have any question for me or comment?
Excuse me, madam.
Yes, Mary.
Is it that we are answering the questions or we go think about them, come back with some answers to
No,
discuss about?
So you're going to go and think about them. Then in our next lecture, this will be our starting point.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have any other question about the lecture? Yes, Ronald.
It is just a request that you share what you have
Sorry?
had this evening. It is a request that you share the work we have had this evening, this one here.
Yes, no problem. Immediately when I finish, I share with ICT. Then when ICT gives me a link, I upload it in Moodle.
Okay.
Okay. So have all of you received? I sent you the enrollment key for Moodle plus the link. Have you received it?
No.
Yes, madam.
I shared it on the WhatsApp group. If you can just check out. Yes, please. Yes, Mary.
Maybe the administrator of the group should include those of us who are not in the group, because.
Okay. Is Mark in this class? I haven't seen Mark. Mark is. Pardon? Is Mark available?
Yes, Mark is in this class, but he has not attended.
Okay.
But we shall talk to him to include those guys who are not there.
Okay, okay, please, thank you. So if you go to Moodle, you'll find the course outline and the lecture slides for today, plus reading material for the introductory part. You'll find those there. Some reading material.
Excuse me, madam.
Yes, Adrian.
Madam, perhaps you write the questions in the WhatsApp group, because for us, we don't remember the questions now.
Sorry, you don't have what? Sorry?
Perhaps you write the questions to be discussed in the next lecture in the WhatsApp group, because some of us even don't remember the questions right now.
Like I said, if you go to Moodle, enroll in Moodle, these lecture slides are there. Okay? So you'll find the content there. They are already there even now. It's only the recording, which I'm going to upload right now, and ICT will send me a link, and I also link it in Moodle. But however, in WhatsApp, I'll still go ahead and put those questions as you've requested, yeah? Do we have any other question or comment?
Madam.
Yes, Adrian. Do we have any other question?
I have a comment.
Sorry, Adrian.
There is no comment.
Okay, okay. So if there's no other question or comment, can we stop here and meet again next week, Tuesday, 5:30?
Yes, madam.
Okay, okay. So thank you everyone for the time, and let's meet next Tuesday.